right, this weekend marks the 4th annual Black Bear Bonanza. It is a really big event that's just blown up in popularity. It's hosted by the backcountry hunters and anglers. Gentlemen, before we talk about the Bonanza itself, you got to know the story to be able to appreciate what we're doing. Tell me the story of black bears in Arkansas.
Yeah, so it's a really interesting history, right, of the black bear in Arkansas. They were unfortunately hunted nearly to extinction in the 30s and 40s. And in the 1960s, they were reintroduced. And the great thing about that is it is the most successful reintroduction of a large carnivore anywhere in the United States.
Okay.
And potentially the world. I haven't checked everywhere, but
Sure.
It's a really compelling story. And the great thing about that is that we have a really healthy black bear population, and we have several different zones that now have hunting seasons because of that healthy, sustainable population.
So when I was growing up, there was a few here in Northwest Arkansas, but
Yep.
the idea of a black bear being found in, I don't know, South Arkansas was just
Right.
unheard of.
Right.
But that's the case these days.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we literally went from on the brink of extinction
Yeah.
to now it's like a thriving population.
Absolutely, yeah. Really, really cool.
Now,
Populations in the South, the Ouachita's and the Ozarks, into Oklahoma, into
Yeah.
Missouri, and even bleeding down into Louisiana.
which is just incredible to think of. It's sad that it got to where it was, but
Right.
how many times do we actually get to come back decades later and celebrate turning something like that
Yeah,
around?
it's interesting that, bear oil, the rendered fat from bears at one point was actually a form of currency.
Really?
Yeah, it was so valuable, and it was used for so many different things, which of course put a price on their head, which back then we didn't have the science and the game regulations, obviously, to manage wildlife in the way that it should be, right? And so now with our kind of North American model of wildlife conservation and the science behind that, we're able to monitor these animals. And that's why, our game and fish systems and federal wildlife agencies are so important, so that we have this information so that we can continue to hunt them, but we can also continue to have a healthy population.
So we're celebrating that this weekend with the Bonanza. What does
Absolutely.
the Bonanza look like? This is an all-day event. What can someone expect? They got nothing to do this weekend. They're looking for something to do. There's something here, right?
Yeah, gates are going to open at 9 a.m. You come into our main vendor hall. We've got vendors, we've got displays and interactive things from Game and Fish and a number of other local vendors and national vendors. And then we move over to the main stage hall where we have events going on all day. We've got cooking demonstrations, wilderness medicine demonstrations. We'll have a live band at noon. We have the world famous owl hoot contest.
Okay, tell me about that. I got to know more. The world famous owl hoot contest.
Yeah, so when you come to the Black Bear Bonanza, if you feel like you're one of the best, we'll have you sign up. We'll go through preliminary competition, narrow it down to the top 10 adults and the top 3 kids, and they will come out on the main stage. And we've got kind of a distinguished panel of judges.
Distinguished, huh?
Yeah, and then we'll narrow it down to a champion from there.
Okay.
There's some remarkable folks.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were blindfolded the last couple of years, you'd swear it was a
Really?
real turkey. Yeah, there's some very talented, and this is just with the mouth, right? There's no
no
calls of any
Yeah.
type, and it's just a lot of fun.
So a lot of fun for the outdoorsman, the outdoor woman, kids too, huh?
Absolutely, yeah. So the AGFC will be there with a lot of their interactive stuff, from archery range to we'll have some kind of like a table full of like different interactive things for kids to do. And so for sure it's family friendly. In addition, there'll be a lot of local food trucks there, so a lot of really great food to go along with the kind of the cooking demonstrations and things we'll be doing.
And it doesn't cost hardly a dime to get in. What, $12 you told me?
$12 for adults, yeah. I think
Yeah.
kids under 12 are free. So yeah, we purposely make this a very family-friendly event so that, you get your whole family involved and the whole family can kind of get involved in the outdoors a little bit.
Sure. So 4th annual, but it's your flagship event. It's the one that everyone talks about, but it ain't the only thing y'all do year round.
That's true. I mean, first and foremost, our mission at BHA, number one, is to make sure that we're protecting access to everyone. I mean, we focus on hunting and fishing, but we want to make sure that all citizens have the access to go and recreate responsibly on our public lands, and that's state and federal lands. And in addition to that, of course, you're not going to have good hunting and fishing if you don't have the habitat, right? And so we're really passionate about protecting habitat. So everything from working with game agencies and other environmental agencies to do things like riparian zone management, tree planting, but also river cleanups, really all those kinds of things we're really passionate about. And education as well. And so anything related to making sure that we maintain and keep the access to those wild places, and that we're learning kind of best practices and ways to go out there and do the things we love, but do them in a way that we're going to keep them protected for future generations.
Now, the pint nights, I know you don't have any on the books right now, but what's a typical pint night look like for you guys up here?
We typically find a local brewery that's willing to help out, and sometimes they offer a discount, sometimes they don't. But we try to either get people together for some fellowship, or we have a lot of guest speakers come in. We've had, for lack of a better term, the butterfly lady from Game and Fish coming in talking about butterfly habitat. What's good for butterflies is good for turkeys. What's good for turkeys is good for whitetails. What's good for whitetails is good for bears.
Love it.
Yeah.
And then also we have our Bows and Brews series in the summer, where we get together at the Nature Center there in Springdale. And we've got a local coffee vendor that provides coffee. And we just kind of provide a scheduled time for people to get out and shoot their bows, whether they're traditional or compound, and kind of get in shape, get ready for the season.
Now, one of my favorite things about your organization is that you're not just talk. I'll see you guys out there picking up trash and doing the nitty-gritty, dirty work. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that sets BHA apart from other conservation organizations. There's a lot of organizations out there that do a lot of really great work. They raise a lot of money and they are able to, really move the needle in conservation. But where BHA is different in a lot of ways is kind of the boots on the ground type stuff, right? So we have really passionate members that love to get out and literally get their hands dirty, right? So it could be anything from planting trees to picking up trash, to partnering with the Game and Fish to go out, maybe sinking Christmas trees to create fish habitat, all kinds of stuff like that. And that's the type of work we really love to do.
So whether it's that, pint night, Black Bear Bonanza, where can we find more information? What's your socials? Is that what the kids say these days? What are your socials?
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend like I know what the kids say these days, right? So let's see, we got Instagram, right, which is Arkansas BHA.
Okay.
Of course, we're on Facebook. It's going to be the same thing. Nationally, our organization you can find at backcountryhunters.org. In each state that has a chapter, you can click on that and you can see everything that's going on for that state.
Got it. Awesome. All right. Well, I think I'm going to make it out there this weekend. I want to see it for myself. I've heard about this event for years, but haven't had a chance. A lot of fun stuff going on. All right. That's going to do it for this edition of 5 Outdoors. We'll see you guys back here next weekend.